Stream?
Yeah, it wouldn't let me.
That's bull.
Alright.
Guess I'll play something else. By not letting you, you mean it wouldn't like let you connect, or just wouldn't let you
It wouldn't
even
let me
try?
live stream in it.
Oh, okay. Alright. Well, time to sit and wait. People.
Invite some people in. Text them.
I don't know anybody who is open right now. Yeah, everyone's busy.
We're trying to find someone who could join.
I could start a stream too if I need to.
Yeah, you could if you wanted to.
But if I do, I'm probably going to be in a VR game. And that'd get pretty annoying because I'm just heavy breathing.
Does the VR headset have a microphone?
Not mine, I use my headset.
Oh.
It has a plug, it has like a microphone plug-in. Where you can plug in a headset, the earbuds that they came with, but they're broke, so I just use this normal headset that I have. It was like normal, originally it was like 150 at GameStop to buy the headset, but then it was like $3 because the company changed their name. They're really good. And the audio is really good. I haven't heard the mic quality yet, but it's a decent headset.
I'm gonna share this stream.
Where is the thing for my viewer? Alright, here, I'm gonna turn my VR on real quick. There we go. Piece of...
JC's so stupid. I said press conference about to start. He said for who? I said me and Mason. He said okay, can't watch it. Sorry, I'm busy. Okay, then why'd you ask?
What?
He said I can't watch the press conference. Sorry, I'm busy. I said, but he asked who the press conference was for. Why'd you ask if you were busy?
Who said it?
JC.
Oh. I thought JC was grounded.
But yet he has this other account.
Well, I know his mom, and she wouldn't just take accounts.
I don't know how he's texting then. He is living with Jordan.
Yeah. What do I want to do? We have golf, Star Wars, Skyrim, Blood and Truth, Electronauts, Beat Saber, up on it. Might do some Beat Saber for a little bit. Where is my mic? There it is. If my heavy breathing gets annoying, just tell me. And I'll mute until I need to talk.
Okay.
I'm gonna be playing. Oh, this is gonna hurt. What? Dude, an actual song. Oh. I have to buy it. Damn it.
Alright, I sent it to all people that would probably watch. Alright, I found a website full of questions if you want to use that.
Sure.
Would you like to answer the questions first, or?
Just go with whatever.
Question 1. How did you get into the sport of boxing?
Sallisaw had a school-wide fighting division, and everyone was forced to join because it counted as a state-required thing for something. I forgot.
I got into it back in like 2015. I think that was the year that, I don't remember the exact year. I know I started doing a lot of the fighting stuff that formed into boxing after I fought Noah Hayes for the first time. I don't remember the exact year. I keep saying 2015, but I'm not for sure. So, from there it just evolved to what it is now. Question 2, what's your favorite boxing or MMA to use in any fight?
MMA.
I would agree. I would use MMA.
I prefer the use of, because if I'm in an actual fight and it's like a street fight or something, I need to protect myself, I'd rather have the full capability of using my whole body to attack instead of just my hands.
I mean, I would use my hands a lot more,
Yeah.
I feel like, because I have more of a boxing background than MMA, but if I was to get into a real fight and it wasn't, say, scheduled in any manner, no gloves or anything, then
Yeah.
MMA. Question 3, who is your biggest inspiration?
My dad.
For fighting?
Yep. For everything. He's been through so many different fights through life, or in actual fights, or just life in general. It's been a fight for us, so he's been my idol since I can remember.
I have a lot of idols. My grandpa, who sadly passed away due to a heart attack or a heart failure. I can't remember the year, but it happened so suddenly out in Adair. And I was staying with my grandparents around the time because my real dad, who I got my last name from because the rest of my family is Rainey's now, and I'm one of the only one in the family out of both sides because there's Rainey's, and then I have Smiths, and I'm the only one in that whole family that has the name Davis. So it's a thing that I kept from that experience of the divorce because I wanted to keep it, to change it into a way that I wanted to change it. I wanted the name Davis to stand out from what I proclaim it as, not what my real dad proclaimed it as. So when my real dad and my mom got the divorce, she decided, we were practically, it was me living with my mom all the time after she won and fought and won the custody of me. So it was constantly us living together. And so she decided to go back to college so she could get more of a degree, so she could get better jobs to get bigger money and bigger pay, so she could support the both of us until further. So around those times, I was out in Adair living with her mom, my Gigi, and Papa, and he passed away, and a lot of things got hard. And you know, the older I got, the older I understood his actions. I still do to this day. So he's a big inspiration. Obviously, if you pay attention to any of my social media, the people I post on my Instagrams and stuff, Conor McGregor, he's a big one. Israel Adesanya, a lot of them. And I go back and watch their fights that are free. There's some pay-per-views that they fight on that I buy and watch. It's just cool because it's not just I'm watching my idol and being inspired by what they do and want to do what they do. It's also the fact of I can study their movements and try out those movements in future fights and see if it works out for me, or maybe develop some of their movesets into my moveset and that become my primary moveset. It's all about the study, and that's a type of thing that people don't usually use a whole lot when it comes to fights. They don't study a tape and take that into consideration. So moving on to question 4, what team are you training with in preparation for this bout?
Not really a team, it's just been me.
I have to agree. Well, that's the thing. I've gotten 2 teams helping me. Condition-wise, body-wise, physique-wise, mental-wise, that's all me. I got the mental-wise, all me. I'm given a schedule that I can work it in because I have work, and then I also have the fact of trying to do YouTube for people that don't really pay attention to the fights all the time. They just want to see my other type of YouTube stuff, so I try to work that in as well into the schedule along with work and then training for this. Yeah, but so I have my family as one of my teams. As everyone knows, like I said on my social media, on Instagram, I've been posting a lot about the second training camp I went through. I'm now on my third one. I did fight a hog. Oh my god.
No. Just out of the blue, just this picture of you sweating in a car.
They are, let me tell you, I had no idea. They are full of muscle. They are muscle.
I've fought a wild boar before, it hurts.
Oh, he slung, because he charged me, and I grappled him and sprawled, and I was like, okay, this is the way to go. How do I move from here? And I went for the back saddle, and he slung me, and I was like, God, it felt like I just got hip tossed.
Oh yeah, they have amazing leg power, so you gotta be careful. Stay off their back.
Luckily, I didn't get kicked. It was constant. It was just constant body ramming.
No, I got kicked.
Which really helped me though, because as much as I predicted, like I can't say you are, but much as I predicted you to be an aggressive fighter and pressure me. Fighting that boar was like fighting something with pressure, and I need to build around that.
I had actually a sparring match the other day. My cousin, but instead of him, he didn't want to punch, so we had to use some sticks. And I used it mainly as a mental spar.
So, I think this training camp we're gonna work a lot on more conditioning, maybe some physique here and there. I'm gonna try and do a lot of dodging in this camp because in the past 2 camps I haven't done a lot of dodging. It's been focused on strikes, physique, and mental and condition.
Yeah.
So training camp 2, I was out in a big log cabin out in the middle of nowhere in the middle of the woods and did nothing but just pressure. It was a big bougie cabin though. We had like a hot tub and everything, so it was sick. I stayed up there with my family for a little bit. My 2 uncles trained me. My dad is a former MMA fighter, so he trained me. And then my first training camp, I was doing a lot by myself, but I got a lot of help from the people that I'm going to be working with a lot in the future for upping my boxing career to going into amateur, and that is Trinity Martial Arts. I've been getting a lot of help from them. And just a lot of living and breathing of the sport for a while. Question 5. Do you like to stand with your opponent, or would you rather take them to the ground? Basically, I feel like this question is asking for this fight. Would you rather have had a boxing or MMA fight?
Right now, boxing fight. I'd want to stand.
I feel like, because there's a lot of people that are like, oh, I'm gonna take him to the ground, it's a lot easier. Standing game isn't always as easy as people think. So that's why I like boxing a whole lot, because as much as people think of it as an easier way of MMA, it is. But it's also a lot harder because there's not a lot of people who would rather take it to the ground and practically have full control of their opponent. And stand up, you're never going to have control. If you want control, you need to show you have control. So it's a process, and so it's like, yeah. And I prefer boxing over MMA any day, even though I enjoy MMA and would rather do it sometimes. I would choose boxing, especially with the way we've been training with my people. Boxing. Yeah. Question 6. What does it mean for you to be a fighter?
That's a tough question. What does it mean for me to be a fighter? I guess it's a way to show people to stop saying, hey, this kid's a big softie. Like, I try to be sometimes, but it's more of a mental thing for me because it gets to me. And this is just showing myself that I'm not the person I'm trying to be just yet.
I've only got 3 words, and that's redesign, keep going, conquer. That's all you gotta do. You sit there and redesign yourself in the game, in the training, and realize that you're becoming someone different and preparing yourself for a battle that could go a lot of ways, and you're not going to be able to predict as much as you want to try. Overcome the fears, the mental stabilities, and turn into something that you never thought you could see yourself turn into, which also goes with the redesign. And then conquer. At the end of the day, if you've trained the hardest of your opponent, then you should have it in the bag to conquer and win the fight. If it's a loss, pick yourself up. You got other stuff to conquer. As long as you keep going with it and know what you're in for, you should become very successful. Question 7. What holes do you see in your fighter's game that you are fighting next?
What holes?
Let's hear it. Let's hear it. They're wanting beef here, Mason. Let's hear it.
I'm not sure what you're asking.
What do you see in me that is something that you could get through and easily
take advantage of?
Practically. What holes in my game do you see?
Your ego? Easily. I mean, that's the one biggest thing about a fighter, is he works on his ego. That's the thing. When your ego crashes, you can't do anything. You have to realize you got to get up after that, and your ego's not everything. Uh, and you're just you're simply a long-range fighter. You prefer to stay back. I stay close. Well, if anybody knew. As long as I can get close, I win. I'm pretty confident in my abilities. I'm pretty confident in your abilities. I know it's gonna be a hard fight. Knowing that, I know I can go in and overcome what I can.
I'm glad you brought up the getting close part, because knowing that it's my turn to talk about the holes that I see in your game, that I feel like I could get around easily, is that one specifically on top of everything. The getting close. Range may not always be a good thing, but it's definitely a good thing to have. If I've got a longer reach than you, I ain't gotta go forward to hit you. I can stay back, you're the one who's gotta come close. And if you come close, sure, you may get me a few times, but with the way my training has been and how I'm confident enough to have that, I feel like I could get around that. And sooner or later, if you don't keep track of that aggressiveness that I feel like you will have, you're gonna get tired. And that's another point that I'm going to point out a hole in your game that I think you have, is that I don't think you're going to have enough stamina to keep up with me.
So you're going to just come over here and be like, yeah, I know that your dad smoked around you and your lungs are weak.
Well, no. I mean, that's, hey, you brought that up, fam. I never said anything. I just said you probably won't have enough stamina.
I won't.
And, I mean, obviously there's been enough months for training, so there's not going to be use for any excuses.
Nah.
But that's a hole that I see. I don't think you're going to have enough stamina for 5 rounds. I don't think you're going to have a lot of technique in your strikes. And especially when you get tired, you're not going to have a lot of technique. Because as much as those gloves are light on your hands, the more tired you get, the more those things feel like cinder blocks tied to your fucking wrists. So it's gonna get hard, and a lot of people don't understand that when they come in here, especially when they come in here and fight. This isn't something you walk into like it's a normal street fight. This is a different game. This is a different cloth that you need to be cut from and bred into, and you practically live it for several days leading up to it. And even if you're friends with that opponent, once you strap on those gloves and step in the ring with that person, he's not your friend anymore until the end. And it's, man, it's simply just, this is a game that shouldn't be played for little kids. So if you think you got into this and haven't been doing the proper things to get ready for it, go sit back at the junior table and let the adults talk. That's all that needs to be said. Question 8. What separates you from every other fighter in your division?
My build. I've noticed that. I have that build where I can just do anything. If I work hard enough, I can do whatever I want. Whether that's long-range fighting, short-range fighting, MMA, boxing, I can learn whatever I need to learn to win. And I've known that in life. That's kind of what I've learned from life, is that I have the capability to learn whatever I need to learn to get past my obstacles.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not limited to one thing. I'm limited to whatever the world is limited to. You there? Hello? Hello.
Phone call. What was the question again?
I don't know.
Hang on. Let's see. But yeah, okay, there it is. It's the, what would you say it was, your build?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I can see it. You definitely have a bigger physique than a lot of the other fighters. I mean, definitely me and Denver, I won't even front about it. So, what separates me from every fighter division? I have an awkward movement. And a lot of people expect that to seem like, oh, he's untrained, or he doesn't have good footwork. I see that as, it is good footwork. As much as people like to stick with their certain stance, whether you're orthodox, southpaw, which if you don't know anything about fighting, people who are watching, practically orthodox is right hand ready, which is pretty much you use your left hand as the jab, and then or southpaw is where you use your right hand as a jab and have left hand ready. Pretty much what you would do in arm wrestling. It's your power hand stance. I switch back and forth between stances. I did that a lot in the Denver fight. It was just something I developed and saw every time I kept watching that fight back and forth for certain reasons. And I guess I got comfortable with doing that, and I got an awkward movement. And it sometimes confuses the opponent, doesn't know what I'm going to throw next. Because he's like, oh, this guy's an orthodox, he's going to have this power hand, he'll fight like an orthodox, and maybe even different. But then I switch southpaw, and they don't know anything that'll come. I feel like I have a very good dodge skill than most fighters. I have a, from what I hear from a lot of people, I am very fucking quick. Not just in striking, but in movement. I can pretty much see a punch cocked and loaded and ready to throw a mile away. I think I showed a lot of that in the Denver fight, but I'm not going to say anything and compare Denver to my opponent for the main purpose of Denver could have had many things wrong with the reason why I was doing that so goodly. Probably the fact that he wasn't fast enough, maybe the fact that he didn't train hard enough. I don't know what Mason's going to bring to the table, and I've talked about it already. Once that first round comes and I get a feel for him, the nerves are probably going to go away, and come the other later rounds, I'll be able to figure out what I need to figure out. So from there, it just happens. But that's what I feel like I have different from everybody in the division. Question 9. If you could have one dream fight with anyone, who would it be?
I've answered this question on the last stream. We answered that one on the last stream.
I mean, if people want to hear it again, I mean, it could change. It could always change.
Mine hasn't changed. Nope, it has changed. I'd love to have an MMA fight against Blake. Because I know I want my rematch against him from the Gamers division. And I'm disappointed in what I did there. So
you said your dream match would be against Blake in an MMA fight?
Yep.
I don't really have a dream fight, honestly. But that's the thing. Are we talking like fighters in this whole thing, or like just fighting in general? Because if we're talking fighting in general, I got a whole fucking lot. This division, primary, I'm gonna combine it with gamers, too. Oh, I've been waiting. I'm gonna save that one for a call out. It's obvious I'm gonna call out someone. It's gonna be stupid because I know they won't answer it. But I'm not gonna say I'm here. But that's not really a dream match. That's just a match I feel like I need to have. And people need to see it, and it needs to happen. But a dream match. I'll name 3. 1, I want to fight Blake. Obviously, that's not a dream fight, but I'll put it on there because it's a fight. A dream fight to me is something that I want to happen and that people want to see. So Blake, indefinite. 2, I feel like this fight is a dream match. And 3, finally, and most importantly, if he was still here in this division, but he's too much of a pussy to show fucking anything up, where the fuck is Jean Paul at? Where the fuck is he at? That overly inflated balloon animal. Where the fuck?
It's a giraffe.
Fucking cunt. Anyway. Yeah. That's my dream fights.
Yeah.
Number 10. What did you want to be remembered for at the end of your career?
Here, I'm gonna answer that one real quick. I gotta switch back to my headset.
I've got a lot of things before I want to retire. I was thinking about retiring after this fight. I'm gonna be openly about that now. I was thinking about it. I'm not anymore. I wanted to for personal reasons that I won't get into. A lot of personal life situations happening. But I'm not going to get into those, like I said, for the reasons of why I wanted to retire. I'm not no more, so I'm just going to say openly, I'm not retiring in that other states no more.
My audio is going to be a little different with headsets, so I can walk around my room freely.
Shit, you probably should have checked the stream to see if they could hear you.
Oh. Well, actually, I asked somebody, I think they can.
From what I know, pretty much, I'm not retiring. Well, I'm putting that out publicly. I've got a lot of things that I want to do before I end my career. I'm obviously a Grand Slam champion a little bit. I mean, we just recently added a division, a new title. There's going to be another division and another title coming up very soon, maybe next year. We're going to get that one ready for, but this division that we just announced recently is one that people have been estimated since last year, since me versus Denver. And I haven't been too keen on it, but if a lot of people want to see it, then I decided, okay, let me do planning on it, and I finally did planning on it. It's out. So, yeah, we have 3 divisions now. And we're going to get it that 3rd division ready.
What is the 3rd division?
The tabletop division, where you'll be able to defend and fight in pretty much any tabletop game, and that is the only way to do it.
So a board game,
pretty much.
One that I would enjoy personally, because of what I prefer, would be saber battles, dueling, like saber dueling.
Yeah. So practically fencing.
No, not fencing. So fencing would be a duel, but it's French. If a duel was French. What I mean is, you can come in, take any technique you want, go out there, face anybody you want, as long as they have the balls to pick up a sword.
But the things I want to do before I retire, I got a lot of ways to go, so you guys are going to be seeing here a little bit longer. I want to be able to hold all the titles. I mean, not all of them simultaneously, I just want to be able to hold them individually. Just know that I have that on my record. I've already held the Hands of Steel. I've already held the Gamers title. I even held both simultaneously as a double champ. I was undefeated for like a little bit.
I really can't move with this headset on.
What else is there? There's... And one of the biggest things that I want to do before I retire, which I've already said to people, I may even go past it, but I've never seen a fighter with that record on their shoulder yet, and I want to try and be the first, but it probably won't happen before I retire at least. I want to at least be... I want at least 100 wins on my record before I like go anywhere. I mean, Floyd's got 50. Obviously, you can go past it. There's always a way. I mean, if you have the will, there's a way. And I know for certain that if I have the will now, and if I keep going, I should have the will later on. So, that's what I want to do before I retire. So, what's yours?
I didn't hear the question. I had to switch headsets.
God, what was the question? Oh, what do you want to be remembered by before the end of your career?
I don't really know. I know, but I can't put it into words because it's mostly a feeling that I have. I joined in because it was fun and it was a cool idea.
It's become more serious than that, though.
And I always had a serious side to it by joining, and well, ever since Colton told me that he'd had a history in fighting, I wanted to fight him. I mean, that's just me being a dude. That's just me being a guy. But then there was...
This is me being a guy. God.
Then there was, you know, guy thing. It is kind of a guy thing. If you hear somebody can fight, you kind of want to fight them. It's just that. And then behind that was the fact that I know I could learn a thing or two in where I need to go in the future from this. Because I'm still undecided, and I'm a junior.
Yeah.
I have no clue what I'm going to do, and right now, I'm headed towards the bridge. So.
I mean, to everybody, I don't want to seem like I'm like a final boss situation. I'm a nerd, so I compare it in those situations. I see everything as a stepping stone sometimes. Sometimes it's harder on my way to a final boss. Like me fighting Denver, I was like, this is a stepping stone at first, then after I fought him, I was like, okay, this was merely a way to get to my final boss. I fought Noah. I thought Noah was my final boss. Noah was like that main coherent to getting there. So once again, I feel like a stepping stone. And that's the thing. If in different timelines, like, if I fought Noah, let's say, and I beat Noah, would it lead me to this point?
No.
That's what I always question. Is because
probably not.
Maybe because that's the thing. As much as I hate losing, and it didn't sit well with me for the past few weeks and days after I lost to Noah and all the training I went through. It really hit because unlike losing to Denver by 1 point, it didn't feel like a loss. So I got over that one pretty quickly. Losing to Noah, that was a straight domination. I just want to let everyone know that. Despite me lasting 15 minutes with that man, it was straight domination. I was getting my ass kicked. And, you know, it really let me know I'm not ready. I need to get ready. And I just kept going and going and going and going, and I didn't stop no matter what people said. And I feel like I needed to take that loss because without that loss, I probably wouldn't be here. And honestly, as much as I shouldn't give credit to people I don't know if they're that good or not, I'm giving that credit where it is. And I feel like this here is it definitely isn't the final, but it feels like this is the final boss, and this is how I need to.
So
This is pretty much like it's like that summoning point in Naruto. It's like at the bridge with like Sasuke and Danzo. It's like that feeling right now.
Kind of that standoff feeling where you know something's gonna happen.
Like I feel like this is the
Like,
one
so-
at like the Kage summit and everything.
So this is the Naruto versus Sasuke fight
Yeah,
in literally every season of the
this
show.
is literally this is literally what this feels like to me. Or like the Goku and Vegeta. Like it's like
Yeah.
yeah.
Eren Yeager and anybody. Anybody who hates him, you know.
Yeah, Attack on Titan's getting good right now.
I haven't been
Okay.
able to watch it. It's also, I'm gonna bring this into it because I had just finished it the other day. It's like Deku and Bakugo.
I am not a big My Hero Academia fan, but you know, Rylan is.
I just
so
finished it.
I decided to try and watch it.
Thought it would be a. I just finished it and thought it'd be a good mention because it's basically the same. Well, like
Yeah.
Woods and Mason from the Call of Duty games.
I'm gonna find a couple
Now
more.
that you've
Or yeah, we
brought
could say
that
in
up
COD.
on how this is like the rival match against, you know, those amazing characters that we could never be, that I could never be. But now that you mention that, I think right now the fight is in a way our stepping stone to find out who we are. So we could go in before the fight and say, I'm gonna be Sasuke, or I'm gonna be Naruto, or I'm gonna be this person because they won one of the matches or whatever. But you're not gonna know until after the fight.
That's the thing. I've been talking a lot with people, and I can tell their nerves are just as there as ours is, because I talk about it and everyone's like, God, like Nova's got this backup because he knows everything, but Mason's got this physique and strength. It's like underdog. It went back and forth between both of us, and now it's just at a standpoint to where it's like, what the fuck is gonna happen?
Yeah. I think it's cool to be. It's really humbling to be in one of these matches where it's super hyped up like it is, and I'm honored to be in it. But it's also, I'm ignoring all the hype because that gets to me. I have severe anxiety, and I have depression, and I have paranoia, I have all that, and it gets to me. I already have to deal with thinking my boss is going to come out every day saying I'm doing a horrible job.
And yeah, that's the thing with being a fighter, though, is because there's some people that have those issues, and fighting does help them with it. Like me. Like, it's just a passion that I have that helps me with my side of depression and anxiety and ADHD and everything. But the nerves are there, and they will come. There's not really a way to just doubt it and stop it. So being able to have all of those issues and be able to cope with the nerves and still go on takes balls, and that's why it's amazing to see. Like, as much as I don't like Denver, it takes balls to step in the ring and strap on gloves and fight someone. So
Yeah.
I do give him props where props is due. And if basically pull through with this, which I feel like he will, and I have confidence that he will, then you know the props are there. And that's another thing. What was I gonna say? Like, it's like people are so nervous about it that people are talking about it like, oh god, like what if, like, cause like knockouts and all that, and I'm just sitting there like, they're gonna be on their feet. There's people that'll probably have like hands on their mouths, like shocked and shit. Like, it's gonna, it's definitely something different from the Denver fight and fights before that. And I don't think the real nerves that are sitting in right now with at least me are gonna hit until the just the prep for everything. So like that's when the real mental is gonna hit. But I've been in this game for way too long. I feel like I know how to psych you into it. So once I get those gloves on, the person that everyone talks to on a normal day basis loves and cherishes, it's a different animal, man. And that's not a lot of people. That's the thing. Denver's like, oh, the ego this, you're the king, yada yada yada. Everyone that you talk to, you're super nice to. You have zero aggression. Strapped on the gloves. What happened for half that fight? He got dominated. Utterly destroyed. He walks like a GTA hooker now because of the jab that I used to scramble his T-Rex sized brain, bro. When I strap on those gloves, it's a different side of me that I don't really like showing in front of people that care about me a whole lot, or people I consider family. But, you know, if it comes down to it, that's what it is. So, the person I am now here at this conference, if I get those gloves on in a few months' time, in December, it's a different, way different Colton.
Should have a sit here and have that awkward moment before a newscast starts talking.
Well, I thought you were gonna say something.
Take like 5 minutes and then respond. Yeah.
All right, we got a couple more questions. Yeah. Which they're random. What kind of music are both fighters into?
Metal, rap.
Yeah.
Anything that can
any genre except country.
Country. Yeah. And like new pop.
I don't like K-pop. I don't like BTS type
sucks.
shit. No.
I don't like soccer mom music. You know, like you get into a van and you know when you hear Michael Bublé or like Justin Bieber that
that's
you're about to go to a soccer game.
You're like, God damn it! Or getting
you get
ready.
in, you're like, in goes the headphones.
Favorite move to use in a fight.
Favorite move to use in a fight.
I've already got mine down. I've got mine down.
It depends on my opponent. I can do. I'm gonna bring this up again. I can do whatever I need to get past my hurdle. I'm not limited to one path. So
which I feel like I shouldn't share this because then it just gives the fighter up, but I don't really care. It happens. It's not like it's a big deal. I like.
It's not. Here, if I had to choose, it's not really a move. It's just a mindset and this skill that I've always had.
Okay, wait, hang on. Before we explain this, are we doing just boxing or any fighting?
Any fighting, really.
Alright, bet.
But mine's more of a... because I have this just innate ability to understand things. Like, if I can understand what you're doing, I could copy it by just looking at it. Like, I tell people that I have the Sharingan of life.
The Uchiha eyes.
And people have seen it. And people have seen it. Not here at Pryor, but if you ask anybody that knows me outside of Pryor,
the all-seeing Uchiha eyes.
I have, you know.
See, I feel like I have that to a certain extent too, because like I see anything coming a mile away. I've dodged high kicks, low kicks, body hits. So
what you're saying is this is the Sharingan versus the Uchiha versus the Hyuga clan.
In a way, yeah, I guess. Have the veins sprout, like have the veins sprout on my fucking face, bro. I got them pure white eyes versus the red and black eyes.
Yeah.
Hey man, it's just my favorite move in all of fighting. I like high kicks. And that's where my flexibility comes into play. And everyone that looks at me, they're like, "Oh, you're not that flexible." I have flexibility. I got flexibility.
You're skinny and you don't have much muscle connection.
So I don't have a lot of limit
build up.
So
you don't really have to stretch out your muscles. They're just already.
And that's the thing. I don't like being skinny. I don't like being skinny, but skinny's got its preps.
You're flexible, but you're prone to damage while stretching. That's the one bad thing about being skinny and flexible.
I like high kicks. I like my favorite my 3-hit combination that I like to do is I like to do the 1-2, which is just punch,
backwards roundhouse, high
and
kick.
then I just step in high kick to the head. So it's like 1-2 bop.
Well, to do a combo right there, you would want to do a backwards roundhouse.
Well, that's the thing.
And you're already kind of moving your waist. You could just go ahead and get that turn.
Because that's the thing. I step in for the jab, and then I back up while throwing the straight, giving me enough room to swing my leg up without turning and just hit the head kick. So it's like step in, jab, backwards straight, and then step in, throw the leg up, kick him in the head. So that's my favorite move, is the head kick. Least favorite move. Okay, I don't, as much as it is an important punch, I hate the jab. I hate the jab. I don't like the jab. It's literally a simple, twist punch. Twist punch. Like, it's got really no effectiveness into it besides backing your opponent up and letting them know that you're still there. Like, it's, as much as it's a good punch to have, and it sets up combinations and strikes, it's the most stupid fucking punch to me.
My least favorite, it was just kind of funny because it's one of the things I'm the best at is grappling. I hate grappling. Mainly because no matter what you do, both parties are gonna get hurt. I mean, if you take someone down and you're on top of them, they're gonna start flailing. No matter what you do, you're gonna flail a little bit. That hurts. And sometimes it won't, sometimes it will, depending on where they hit you. But you're gonna get slapped, you're gonna get kicked, you're gonna get hit, wherever. And it doesn't count because you're in the middle of a grapple. So they could on purpose kick you in the wherever you are sensitive in, and it would be legal because you're in a grapple. And
that's the thing, because like
taking people down, but it's just
I need to work on my ground game more because I have so much of a move set to tie people up on the ground. Like, according to my coach, I have such a good submission background. I can literally look at someone's ligaments and figure out how I can put that into a submission. And my striking game on the ground I hear is really good. My coach says I do nice knees to the body. When the head's open, I don't just immediately go through like a ground and pound punch like most aggressive fighters would, or street fighters, like school fucking like pimps and shit, like whatever the fuck they do. I throw elbows, and elbows are probably one of the most dangerous strikes in fights if you think about it. It's bone, yeah, it's bone on bone, and if you throw a downward elbow against a head, it's like a slicing motion, so it's almost immediately you're gonna cut someone open and they're gonna bleed.
And in fighting science, an elbow is a really good thing to have. The only downside of it is you could damage your elbow, or you don't have enough reach.
You can also give someone brain damage. I mean,
yeah. But then there's what your opponent would have to do to get out of that. You'd have to just completely dodge it and step back.
You'd have to dodge it and hope that the person, and that's the thing, because if they end up dodging it, you're gonna there's not a real way to recover from an elbow strike like there is a punch if you miss the punch. So if you miss that elbow strike, and they dodge it, you have that connection of the elbow bone connecting on like whatever type of ground you're fighting on, and that's gonna suck. Especially when you're going in like a slicing motion instead of just a straight down, like bam, you're going slice, like a big
So
wave motion.
There are 3 to 4 things to avoid being hit. There's parrying, countering,
feints,
blocking. Or no, feints, which is basically just dodging or avoiding.
It's like a slight dodge. Like you make them think you're gonna hit, and then they throw because they think you're gonna hit, and then you just back up.
That can be put into
yeah
counters or dodging. But then there's also avoiding, which is
or running, or like
close.
Some people like to do. Jump
yeah,
off.
You can get
wink.
in close. You can get in close, take a couple hits, and just straight up back up out of the fight, or far enough out to where they can't come at you, and you just keep moving. So you're avoiding them entirely instead of getting up and taking chances.
Yeah.
But it's usually just the first 3.
Man, now I want to take back my favorite strikes. I kind of like the elbows.
Me personally, I excel at countering and parrying.
I know I got good dodging skill. I think my dodging has upped since Noah. I was just going in and taking hits from Noah, and then like my newest fight with Denver, man, everyone was like, man, he's upped like dodging skill, speed wise. So I know I have that in me, and training for this, I know I'll have it more.
As you said, it's just dodging is just don't get hit. Do anything to make sure you don't get hit out of the way of the punch, and that made sense. So I guess I've looked at countless different people and how they dodge, and how they would kind of bob and weave, or different techniques to dodging, and I guess it's just kind of instinct. You see a punch, what are you gonna do? Like if somebody's gonna... That's kind of weird too. Hello? Alright, sorry. Like every time you go quiet...
Yeah.
I can't like... This headset, it's a Bluetooth headset, so I think it's gonna cut out a lot.
What's your favorite fighter that you wish you would be fighting right now? Like your favorite fighter in the division that you've been interested in, and you wish that you could be that you wish you could fight them.
I'm not really in the position to answer that question. I might in the future, but I'm too new to answer that question. I don't really. There's not very many people to pick from, and all but 2 people I can see that I know that I wouldn't dominate against.
Favorite person that I wish I could be in a fight with. Now, I know me and his stuff is over. We've had 4 fights, and you know, I won the first one, he won the second one, third one was a draw, fourth one he won. People are still questioning on a 5th fight. I mean, and as much as it's put behind us now, I wouldn't mind running it back with my arch nemesis, Noah Hayes. Where you at, boy? I mean, hey, it's a joke. It's like, he knows it's over. It's just people want to see it sometimes, and most of the time it was always MMA, but now they're like, oh, let's see it in boxing. And man, you know, people just need to realize me and him are done. It's done. He's retired for 1, and for 2, we've had 4 fights. I think we should leave it at that. So, but yeah, if my favorite fighter that I've been watching a whole lot through just watching the fights and setting them up, Noah's he's a very interesting fighter to watch. So, yeah, Noah Hayes indefinite. Did you die?
No, I just muted my mic.
Oh. Let's see. Next question. Here's some questions, and it's based around any division. Talk to us about your last recent fight. Would you like to talk about that first, or me? Talk about mine.
In this division? Like in the...
In both divisions, it doesn't matter.
Prior?
In all combined.
Prior?
Just in all combined, like gaming and like your last recent fight, which would me and you fighting the new Gamers Champion, Zeke. And you going into that and everything. I mean, obviously you lost the fight, but I mean, you showed differently from when you fought Blake in your debut.
I'm gonna talk about my recent IRL fight, I guess. It wasn't recent, it was 3 years ago.
Like the spar?
No, it was a match.
Okay. I'll count it, I guess.
Sallisaw. It was my last match. I had already moved to Pryor, but I had been over for a birthday party or something, and we had gone off to the side to do this match that had been long awaited. And it took 4 years to get this match done, but it was me versus who everyone called my twin, Henry. And Henry was the current champ, and I couldn't take the spot because, well, for a long time I didn't want it because I just didn't want to be in the spotlight, and then when I did want it, we couldn't do that because we were both busy. But when we actually got the fight done, it ended up as a draw.
Oh,
we did
fuck,
8
man.
matches. We did 8 rounds, 2 matches. So we did, 16 rounds that day. And they both ended in a draw. We went 5 minutes around in the first match. No. And then we went 7 minutes around in the second one.
That's gotta suck. I know what a draw feels like.
Awesome. It was awesome.
I mean, it's a cool feeling, but man, after everything you tried in that match and everything leading up to it, God, a draw would suck.
In that case, it was a draw, and because we did 2 matches because we couldn't end on a draw. So when we did end on a draw, we just ended up on having 2 champs, me and Henry, and we had a rematch spar 2 years ago, last year, and I had won. But
I mean, hey. Cause like I know what a draw feels like. Cause with me versus Noah Hayes 3, like our trilogy fight, after I beat him once, he beat me once, so we went to the 3rd fight, which is not very recent. The most recent one we had was me versus Noah Hayes 4, but me versus Noah Hayes 3, that ended in a draw, and man, as much as I want to say I was devastated, I was like, I had my fingers crossed. I was like, yes, bro, I survived. Because Noah is tough. He's draining and everything, man. So, I know what a draw feels like, though. And it's, yeah.
The first match played out. Round 1 through 3. Out of the 8 rounds we had, Henry had dominated, and then the past 3, I started catching up on the last 5. And the first match I had taken, we counted up 74 body shots, 18 face shots, and then the rest were misses. I had dealt 20 face shots and just 72 body shots, and then the last match, the second one, I had dealt 108 body shots and 25 face shots. And that last round, that 8th round, as soon as the bell struck, we'd both gone for a hook to the face as like a last chance kind of shot, and we both went down. We didn't get knocked out or anything, we just collapsed. It was hot. It was in the 90 degrees outside, and we were sitting there going at it for 4 or 5.5 hours. So
question, another question was who's on your team? Like, leading up to this fight, who do you think you have on your side?
I like to think that no one's on my side. A lot of the time. I like to think that I'm on my own. Because I know that if I'm on my own, I don't have that expectation to get better and where I need to be. Unless I put it on myself. Because when things are forced on me, I rebel against it, I guess. That's one way to put it. I just don't do it. Like, if someone tells me I need to be able to do this in a week, I'll do it in 2 weeks. And I won't even work that first week. I can't. It's how I grew up. But if I go in and I have that mindset of, I'm alone, I'm doing this by myself, I get help when I need it, as long as I permit myself to do it. Like, I am my own boss, I am my own teammate, I am my own me. So if I don't have anybody right now, and I just don't. I don't have anybody I can go spar with whenever I need to. I don't have anybody I can just talk to and be like, yeah, strategizing or anything. But if I did, I would mention them. Obviously, I wouldn't ignore them. But a lot of times I like to think that I'm alone in my journey, because it makes me feel like I'm not forced to do anything, and I can do it and be happy with it, instead of doing it and feeling like I did it for somebody else.
I have my expectations on who might be on my team, but I have not a sense of a lot. I would put some names out there, but I don't know if they want their names out there like this. But so I know I'd probably have some people on my team, but you know, the rest is I'm kind of on Mason's side here. I don't really know who I have, because that's the thing. People are switching back and forth. It's kind of like that thing with the fans for this build up for the fight. One day Mason's the underdog, the next day I'm the underdog, and it's now just coming to a standpoint of where no one can predict. They both know we're both like this force of power in our own perspective ways, and it's stuck in the middle between I don't know who's gonna win. So at that point it's like you got no one on your side. They're all in the middle between both circles. So it's like, I feel like in a way agreeing with Mason here. Like, it's how it should be. Don't pick your side till the fight's over, because, you know, there's a lot of people that pick their sides before the fight happens, and the fighter gets into trusting with them, and then they switch sides when the fight starts coming down, and then that throws the fighter off, and then it's, you know. But that's also got to do part with the fighter as well. And the fighter needs to know not to entrust with anybody. He's in a training camp. He needs to worry about himself, worry about his opponent until the fight comes. That's why I've been saying, even before this press conference started, I've been living and breathing this shit for days and days and days. When I could be doing fun shit, I'm sitting here breathing this shit. So they're only creating a monster and a problem, and I said that in the face-to-face with Mason. As much as he thinks he's gonna win, and I don't doubt him, have that courageous stability and mental stability when you come in there. I want that energy. But as much as you think this might be easy or not be easy, either way, there's a problem going to be waiting for you at the other side of whatever we're standing near fighting, and whatever comes down next comes down next. Here's a question. This one's weird though. It only really applies to me because I'm gonna be an adult when I fight you. Did you become a boxer / MMA fighter just so you could fight legally?
No.
No.
I never like, no. I would prefer to do legal fights because they don't get interrupted. But as long as the illegal fight...
Hey, I'm gonna be 18, practically beating up on a minor. It's... as long as no one fucking opens their mouth. You hear me, you little bitches? No one's gonna know. So it's Aliave. So from there, it's good.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, it's not technically going to be illegal if I win, so... then it'll be a minor beating up an adult.
Hey, we'll see what comes.
We will see what happens.
What does it feel like to break someone's jaw? I wouldn't know, but what is it? I'm gonna sum that up in. I'm gonna sum it up in what it feels like to literally beat the shit out of someone.
Monster.
So
I'm the monster, so I would know.
Well then, hey, have your fair share of questions for you.
Okay, well, here's the truth about it. It depends. Did you throw straight? Did you hook? Did you have that overhook? Did you jab? It's whatever you did. I'm gonna go with the hook. The only time I ever broke anybody's jaw was with a hook, and it was the most satisfying thing ever.
I'm not gonna lie, he's right.
it's like a mixture of popping a balloon and then...
Especially, like, when they talk so much shit and you get that opportunity to fuck them up.
So... You know the satisfying feeling you get when you're punching a bag and you know you're just wailing on it?
And it makes that, like, that whip
and
sound?
Yeah.
Ooh,
it's like that and popping a balloon. You hear that crack and you feel it in your knuckles. No matter if you're wearing gloves, if you're fist to fist, you feel it in your knuckles and you know. And there's also kind of what makes it super satisfying is before you throw your punch, like even before you set up the punch, you know what's gonna happen. And it's just that moment where you have like a vision of, this is what I have to do. This is what is destined.
See,
And it was so satisfying. And...
I've never broken anyone's jaw, but I've beaten the crap out of people. If anyone has seen the most recent picture that I found as my favorite picture on my whole camera roll on my phone, it's the picture of me making Denver look like a fucking ballerina when I jabbed him in the face. That was the most satisfying thing because I felt the air whoosh down my arm when I threw it, and I was like, oh, that's gonna be quick, and if it lands, it's gonna hurt, and it's gonna sting. And he was guarding, and I'm like, I'm not gonna get through it, and I just happened to slip through the guard and get him right in the chin, and I was like, ugh.
I'm gonna pause you right there. So I tried, because I pumped up, because it's one of those things where you think about it and you're like, I gotta do it again. I had tried to go up and just recreate the move that I did, because I did a sidestep duck and then came up on my leg with the jab, or with the hook simultaneously, so I had extra power behind it. And I tried to do it, my headset fell off and broke.
Oh my god.
I fixed it because my right earmuff had completely just flew off.
Why are you shadowboxing with the headset on?
It's fun, I can hear you, and I'm just pumped.
What is... Oh, this one's gonna get deep. What is the what is the most intense quote that you said in your fight, whether you were down or winning? What is the most intense quote that no one has ever heard you say that you said in a fight? Mine's
okay.
Mine's good. I like mine. I already got mine. I was bleeding when I said it, so.
I say this all the time. It's my favorite quote. But it was in my first match, and I was in a fight with this, actually a bully at my school. His name was, I'm not gonna name, never mind. I'm not gonna name him, but he was tall, he was way taller than me, he was a wrestler. And he had the overall advantage because he had everything I couldn't have. And I had gone into this fight thinking I had a chance, as long as, because we were neighborhood buddies and we would spar together, but before that match I didn't know what he was working on, so I had just strategized against what he did, and he put me on the ground. Match 5, minute 4:03. I remember because the clock
It's
was there,
impressive how the
clock.
fuck you know your times.
Thank you. The only thing I can remember.
Because I don't pay attention to it. I'm just like, he's there. There's
'Cause we
time
had
left.
clocks.
Fucking hit him.
Yeah, we had clocks around our little ring, and I'm on the ground. I'm dazed as all hell. I wasn't close to being knocked out, but I was dizzy. And I'm looking at the time. It's the only clear thing I can see. And
Oh, dramatic.
I get up, and he tells me in this deep voice, he's like, well, you ready to get knocked out? And all I said was, with a little shoulder shrug, sure. And then I put him on the ground.
Short and sweet to the point, I guess.
It was my favorite thing because I had gotten up and the camera, we had been moving around. It was a circular ring, so we had been moving around a lot, and I was positioned right at the camera, and the camera was staring me in the face as I said it, and I saw the clip, and all I could think, I had a nosebleed. I mean, all I had was a nosebleed.
I think I had a
and that was because my nose was dry. I was dazed because I was tired and I hit the back of my head on the ground because I hit a rock.
I think I was cut on my cheek, so it was kind of like dripping down my chin a little bit. My scar on my lip opened up a little bit. That was bad. But, you know, it just healed again.
Yeah.
And I was getting my ass kicked, and I don't remember who it was. Yeah, no. God, I said it. I was a little boy, too. I was fighting Noah in our second fight, and obviously I lost the fight, but I had this determination still to keep going, because I was down 2 out of the 3 rounds, and we were on round 3, and I'm sitting there, and he's sitting there pumped up. He's like waving me over to come on and get up, and as I get up, Gavin's looking at me bleeding, and Noah's only got like a cut on his leg and his arm, and he's bleeding, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, and Noah's like, let's go, let's finish this, and I'm huffing and puffing, and to myself, and Gavin brought it up to me just a couple of days ago, and I was like, I remember I said that, like I forgot that I said that, and I'm sitting here and I'm going, I'm prepared to die, and I was like, what? And that's what I mean by when I strap those gloves on, it's a different person, man. I sat there bleeding, I'm staring him down, I know I'm gonna lose, but I'm just like, I'm prepared to die. I'm prepared to die.
Our quotes were kind of similar because I had agreed to death, and then you said you were prepared. That's kind of like agreeing to it.
That's what fighting brings out of me, and that's why I don't think of it as just a fucking sport. This is a this is something
it's a lifestyle.
This is something that will cut you from a different cloth. You will be turned into a different breed. It's like alpha and omega shit, bro.
I can tell by your voice that you're as pumped up as I am, and you're like walking around your room sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I'm forcing myself to sit down. I'm walking around. I was just doing some taekwondo at the beginning of the stream, and then here I was just shadow boxing.
Do you get excited when you win, or land someone in the hospital? I've never landed someone in the hospital. Because like I'm still a nice person deep down. I'm still a nice person deep down. Even when I strip those gloves on, like I still have the mental stability to snap into that. Oh, I'm back into Colton, or I was Colton in the fight, but like I snapped back into Colton, and I'm like, okay, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna bring this up on stream. I'm gonna bring this up on stream.
So I never, I never really, as much as I had the opportunity to, never. You know, ended anybody in the hospital.
I know you're gonna.
I think I was the one that almost got put in the hospital. I'm prepared to die.
I had sprained my wrist. That's the only time I've been to the hospital for it. But I know you're probably gonna expect me to be like, oh, hey, I'm not even gonna fight. It's gonna be this person.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing that. That is not how I roll.
I think you just recently found out that I got the same thing.
Yeah, you have.
I don't plan on using mine either.
No, Because I know if you went against mine,
It's
if
like
you went
fighting a whole
against
different
my
person.
alters, it's one, you're fighting a whole different person. The only person you could probably beat would be Dion. That's it. Everyone else would wipe the floor with you, no matter what. And I know that because I've seen it. And that's I'm bringing this up because, well, we had done a 10-round 2v2 tag team match, and it was me and Henry and then 2 of our friends, and we were in there in the ring fighting, and well, I had been tagged in and I just passed out. I had this moment, and this was before I realized I, had these other things going on in my head. But I had just passed out, and I had woken up after I had tagged Henry back in, and I had to watch the camera feed to see what I did. And I had closed my eyes for a second, and I opened my eyes, and there was just this different fire. And I had just wiped the floor with this kid. I mean, this kid, he was bigger in every way. He was taller than me, he was wider than, he was buffer than me, and I had walked in, not me, but I was wiping the floor with this guy who I had no chance against, and put him in the hospital for a concussion, because this one was just an event that we had going on at the time for like the 5th anniversary of this division, and it was a mixed boxing MMA thing. So half the rounds, 5 rounds would be boxing, 5 rounds would be MMA. But on that 5th round, from when it switches, you could implement MMA moves. So you could grapple, you could use your legs with a limited kind of amount of leg room there. So I had put him on the ground somehow and just started wailing on him and in the face. Ground pound, elbow, back to the ground pound, and then I had got up and just backed out of the ring and tagged Henry in because I was tired and done with this. And that's when I had woke up. I consciousness was back in my brain. I was awake, and I don't know who it was. I don't know what happened, but I know it wasn't me, because I didn't have a chance against this dude. But I'm not at all gonna use any of my alters in this fight. If I do, it's just to tease you around a little bit, play with you. But that's it. They will not be throwing punches.
How has being hit so many times in the head affected you? That's a question, by the way.
A lot of people would think it's you can't, like, you have a horrible memory when it comes to certain things. It's because all this brain damage. Is no. The memory loss part of it is from depression and that chemical imbalance in my head.
Yeah.
And then a lot of it is...
But that's the thing, I haven't been hit in the head a whole lot, and as much as people have been like, oh, you were hit in the head a couple times in the Denver fight, me and Denver were, I think, the first people to start the headshot shit in this boxing thing that I do. So, but to be fair, never got hit as much in the head as people thought I did in that fight. And the footage and the camera angles may show it looks like I've been hit in the head. I promise you. I walked out way more prettier the same way I walked in than Denver did. His whole face was red. Mine, I think I had like a little bruising on like my body somewhere. I was pretty. I was fine.
The only thing being hit anywhere by any force of whatever nature is in front of me, all it has affected is my instincts. It's sharpened my instincts. It's built up my ability to see and be as well. It sometimes the pain is still there. That's the only thing. But I see it as a ladder to get me past what I'm gonna get through in the future. The pain that I feel from my past is always gonna be the ladder that gets me up. It's always gonna be the mountain that I have to climb to reach my peak. Last year I had made a quote. I'd been feeling good, particularly good that day, and I was looking off into this field, and it was in Salison. I saw a big hill. It's just this mountain, really, barely, and it had these sharp edges on it, and I thought, well, that looks a lot like how my life is going right now. Good some places, and then just completely horrible the next. So really all it's done is get me prepared
for the next chapter.
What I need to do. Yeah. And I can tell this isn't some 5-chapter storybook. It's a...
There's a lot of pages that need to be written.
This is not just the book, it's the series. It's like... I have two things, like Skyrim, it never ends. Or it's like the Far Cry series, or the all of those never-ending things that games keep coming out. The grind doesn't stop for no one. You can stop for the grind, but you gotta keep moving forward one day. And that pain is just that reminder of you gotta get up and start walking. Getting deep.
Final 2 questions that I can find before the press conference will end. And now one of them questions is, what does it feel like to be rocked/knocked out?
Never been knocked out. I've been rocked though.
I've never been knocked out either. I've been rocked as well.
I've been dazed twice. I've been dazed twice. One time in an actual division fight, and then the other time was in my own house. I'll get into that one because it's kind of embarrassing, but it's worth a mention. So the first time, it was what I had said against that when I had just shrugged my shoulders and said, sure, I had been dazed. And it wasn't because I'd been hit too much. It was simply because of my surroundings, and I had hit a rock. A rock had hit me in the head. And that's what dazed me. But then the second time, here in my own house, Henry was over, and we decided not to spar because we didn't have gloves, so we took pillows. We took a pillowcase and shoved 5 pillows in each pillowcase and started hammering on each other with pillows. And there was one pillow that he had that was like gelatin. Like it was soft, and you know, a good pillow, once you hit it or it solidified. And it was at the front of every single attack he threw at me. And I had got hit in the head, I got hit in the temple, and fell on my knee. So I'm sitting there, feeling a little dizzy. I'm not quite dazed yet, but I had whipped the pillow around and hit him in the leg, and he fell. And he had fell on top of me. And that's how I got dazed.
I have never been knocked down. Like, I've never been brought to one knee. I've never been knocked out. I've never been knocked down. I've been dazed. I've been dazed twice in my time of fighting. First time was I got the own combination that I like thrown at me in the Noah Hayes 4 fight. He hit me with a 1-2 and then a head kick, and I just felt it was blurry, and I didn't know what to think of it. It was blurry, and I wasn't on wobbly legs. I could walk straight, but I was blurry. My vision was blurry, and I heard this constant.
You had that pressure in your head.
It has this constant ringing in my head.
And you also had that pressure kind of build up.
Yeah, like my head started to ache. My vision was blurry, and there was this ringing in my head. But I wasn't on wobbly legs. I think the one time I was on wobbly legs and I had the rest of those effects was when, and I'll give it to Denver, he's got a hook on him. And I stepped in to kind of finish it, went for my uppercut, and he swung, and a big hook hit me in the head. I backed up, and you can watch in the tape, I go to back up, and I kind of stumble. And the closest feeling I can tell you to what being rocked / knocked out is like, is you'll get chicken legs, it's hard to stand up, vision's blurry, there's this big headache type feeling, and it's this just loud ringing.
When there are some instances when you're in the zone and you get dazed, where the only thing that's not blurry is the thing you're focusing on, or the thing you're supposed to be focusing on that will get you back up. I know I've had instances where everything will be blurry and just spinning, but there will be this one thing that's always in the center of my vision, and it just sparks this train of thought that gets me up. But that's just like either coincidence or it's instinct.
So, yeah. But I've never been knocked down on my knees, or I
have, but
knocked out. I've been dazed.
By
Dazed,
weightlifters
and man,
bodybuilders and stuff.
like, you've already brought this up on stream, so I'll bring it up. You know when your head gets heavy when people travel?
Yes.
That's what it feels like.
You get used to that though.
Yeah. It's like a mixture. It's like a mixture of that, except heavier, and blurry vision and runniness. Yeah, it's just
everyone is
that.
feeling
It's
it.
like yeah.
It's hard to explain because most of the time you don't remember all of it.
Yeah.
Because I know the science behind it. When you
It's
get
like
dazed,
it's one of those moments where I feel like I should switch because I'm hurt.
Yeah.
Like put the next player in. Tag me out, please.
Yeah, like whenever you're fighting in any Mortal Kombat, or in specifically Mortal Kombat 9, because you could tag team multiplayer, and you'd be on your last boss fight against God, what's his name? He was a Khan.
Shao Kahn, Kotal Kahn.
Yeah, Shao Kahn. And because he would throw his hammer, and then I would tag whoever's I'm playing with in, and they'd get hit, and it would force tag me in, and I could just go in for a combo.
Yeah.
You could do that when you're here. I just want to bring this up because
I just want to bring this up. Like, what happened?
I died there for a second.
I just want to bring this up.
I want to bring this up to just clear some water for you. When you said that like your head was real heavy and you thought one of my altars was in your head, they weren't. I know when people leave, I know when somebody's gone, and they weren't there. But if you ever have any questions about that, just come to me, and I know pretty much just about everything I need to know. Off that topic, because we're in the stream.
Yeah.
Next question.
Final question. And this question is, what are the last few words to say to your fighter on camera before the fight?
What are my last few words for what?
What are your last few words for your opponent on camera before the fight?
What are my last few words on that I would say on camera?
That you would say that you would say to your opponent, and it's practically going to be the final moment that we talk to each other on camera before the fight. Like nothing else will be sprouted besides
publicly.
Trailers and everything.
Like, yeah, publicly, you mean?
Yeah.
I want to come at you with like some warning and be like a badass, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna talk to you as your friend and say this will be an amazing fight. No matter what happens, I'm gonna come out still thinking you're my friend, hoping that you'll still see me as a really good friend. And because of that, I don't want you to think that you need to hold back because I'm your friend, or that you need to not see me as a friend so you don't hold back. I want you to not hold back. I want you to go 110% in this fight because I'm your friend. Because that's what friends do. So I guess it's a request.
My final words is, I feel like as much as we've been underdog and people are in the middle, there's still that feeling of underdog feeling, and I love being the underdog because being an underdog shows that I can prove people wrong, and after the things are over I can talk about that, and it's practically like a bragging rights situation in a way. I think a lot of people doubt me a lot because of the way I look, because of the way I talk, because of the way I act. But like I said, man, like, the me that they are talking about is not the same me that has the gloves on. So, you know, it's just another thing to say that I need to prove to myself and to prove to everybody, including my opponent. So, showing that I am a willing fighter and that this isn't just an easy fight to step up someone's career is gonna be a lot. So really, man, someone's angry. Your shit too, it's fine.
What?
He yelled out, I think someone yelled out, your shit! I was like, your shit too, it's fine.
Who doesn't know how to how to flush the toilet after they're taking a shit? Bloody fucking one of yous.
Disgusting.
Fucking disgusting.
But yeah, I mean, I need to look at this how I need to look at this. But I need to look at this how I need to look at this, and I get it. Like, I plan to still be friends with Mason after the fight, before the fight, but when the fight comes, whatever comes down to it, which I feel is necessary to just look at as a opponent. I say opponent because I don't want to look at it as an enemy, because if it was an enemy, it would probably be a lot worse, I feel like. And I'm not gonna say that I'm gonna hold back everything in the fight. I'm gonna go all out like I've been training for. If it was an enemy, the reason why I say that is because it would be a lot harder than what I would usually go. So yeah, practically I look at it as an opponent. He's my friend now. He'll be friends after. During the thing, like I said, whatever comes, whatever comes. And it's going to be a good fight. Title on the line, no title on the line. It's a bragging rights situation, and we both have something to prove, and this is how we prove that. To not only ourselves, but to both of us and to everybody that is willing to be hyped and ready to watch this fight. And it's going to be good, and I can't wait to do it. And that's really all I got to say.
No.
Thanks for coming to the press conference. There would be a face-off, but it's virtual, so. Mm.
I'm worth fighting for. I'm trying to prove to myself that I can be worth the fight. Whether I win or lose, I'm gonna come out of this knowing whether I can work on something or I can go back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
I'm not. And life is choosing for me. So.
I really got nothing else to say after that. I'll show the rest of what I have to say in the fight, so we'll just put that there. Ooh, a little tug. Yeah. Not on camera though. I'll let this leave here. Publicly, it's a different story, but you know. Yeah. Thanks for coming to the press conference, everybody. We'll see you in the fights.